Shinigami, and today I'm reviewing One Piece episode 595. So, let's start. Today's episode is pretty interesting. I believe it came out today, so I know you guys are probably surprised I'm even getting this online today. But, so yeah, the episode came out today, and, it starts off with us following Zoro, Brook, and Sanji as Nami. And Zoro and Brook have these big bumps on their head, but Sanji Nami doesn't. And so they're just running through the snow. And the next thing I know, Brook runs over to a footprint, and Zoro and Brook's bumps are on. Brook runs over to a footprint, and they're trying to find the samurai, Kinemon. And Brook's like, it's not his footprints, it's not this footprints, it's not what you think, it's the Yeti's footprints. Next thing you know, there's two Yetis, and at this point I'm thinking, what's happening? And the Yeti Brothers shoot them with the gas to knock them out, and then they shoot the cliff to make it fall into the spikes that are down below. There's a big platform of spikes that's elevated. And as they're falling, Brook and Sanji Nami, are already knocked out, and Zoro's still conscious, and he sees the spikes coming, and he cuts it in half, and they fall onto it, and then they just slide to the bottom, so they're good. And then the other brothers leave, they're like, we left their bodies at the bottom of F-16, can you come pick them up? And then at this point I'm thinking, okay, how'd they get from, it's like, we already saw this, is this a flashback? Or what is it? And then, so the people come, they're like, alright, we're here, we'll pick up the 3 dead bodies. And Sanji Nami turns and is like, who you calling dead? So, he beats them all up in Nami's body, he's like, oh, I should be gentle, this is Nami-san's body. And then, he wakes both Zoro and Brook up by kicking them in the head, and that's where they got their bruises from. And then we see them running with bruises again. So there wasn't much transaction to a flashback. It just, like, with the background, with the snowy background, it's hard to tell when stuff is happening. Like, they didn't cut it very well, so it's a little confusing in the beginning. You're thinking, weren't they just running, and they just have this, and they just have that? So I think they should have cleared that up a little bit better. Anyway. So they're all running still, and of course Sanji's freaking out about being in Nami's body. And then there's a really funny scene, which will probably be the thumbnail of this video. It's, Sanji trips, which is funny thinking about Sanji tripping, because, like, he runs and everything. But still, Sanji trips in Nami's body. Zoro catches him, and then they're just, like, they have that, like, dance pose to them. And Brook's like, how romantic. And then Zoro pretty much picks up Sanji and throws him into the ground, like, I'd care if you fall. So, it was pretty funny. They continue on their way to find the samurai guy, and they keep walking over his body, he's frozen. And they realize it's him, blah blah blah, crack at him, wake him up. And he says he's been paralyzed and he can't move. And then they come to the realization that his body's probably in the lake. So they start heading that way. Some of the horsemen people are coming, and they're running away from a monster. And it's at the other side of the lake. And Zoro, Brook, and Sanji Nami head over to the lake, and Zoro's like, I don't remember that mountain being there. And Brook's wondering what the heck it is, and we know it's a poison gas smiley thing. And then we switch over to Caesar, and he's explaining what we already know. He's doing this weird, I don't know if it's a monologue or a soliloquy, I don't know. But he's just talking to himself, and the way he's talking, it's like, okay, I know he's explaining stuff, but he's just thinking about what he's like in person. It's like, okay, dude, who are you talking to? But still. And then we switch over to the Straw Hats. Nami Sanji. I say the person who it is first, and then the body second. So Nami Sanji is talking about, we need to save these kids. And Luffy is like, yeah, I got a great plan. Then we switch over to Smoker and Tashigi and G6, I think it is, fighting the horse people still, and trying to get inside, and they still can't get inside. And we switch over to Trafalgar, and he's coming. He keeps doing this room thing. He'll go room, and then he'll pop in the middle, and room, pop in the middle there. So we see that he has the abilities of teleportation, if only for a short distance, but still, being able to teleport, that shows that he truly has the powers of a god inside his room, which is amazing. And if he becomes, I'd love to see him become a strong ally of the Straw Hats. He already has a crew, so I doubt he'd become a member, but like, Whitebeard had several different ships. Like he had the first commanders and second commanders. I think it'd be really cool to see like the Straw Hats go into that. I doubt they will, but that would be really cool in my opinion. So anyway, he's walking over to Caesar's lab. He's like, we'll just go in this back way. He's talking to Chopper. He's like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then I need you to do this. So they're just setting stuff up, and then we switch back to G6 or whatever, because they're making a commotion. There's something flying at him, and it turns out it's Luffy in Fusan, like his balloon form. And Frankie is standing on top of him, and so is Nico Robin. And then Robin goes into her wing thing, she's flying, and Luffy and Frankie crash through the ship, and whenever Luffy crashes through the ship, he says wham. So pretty funny. You know, and then the shots there, and Luffy is just stating the obvious, that he's come to beat up Caesar and kidnap him. And Robin's like, that was supposed to be a secret, but oh well. And so it ends, and it's pretty funny episode. So time for the basic fact. Badassness would probably have to be 4. I mean, Zoro's cutting the island in half was pretty badass, but we've seen him cut a dragon's head off in one slice, so still. Attention level, how much attention was I paying? I was paying quite a bit of attention to it, so I'd have to say about a 7.5 or an 8. Satisfaction, how satisfied with this episode. In the beginning it was a bit confusing, and I think they could have done a little bit better with that, but overall satisfaction would have to be about a 6.5 or 7. Interest level, how interesting was the episode? It was about a 7. Comedy. Remember, I changed it from confusion to comedy, so now C means comedy. So comedy would have to be about, I'd say a 7.5 or an 8. I think it's pretty funny. Not as funny as it usually is, but still generally funny. Fan service, 3. Animation, it's pretty well animated, so I'd have to say 7.5. And predictability, if you've read the manga, you know, I mean, but predictability generally 5.5 or 6. Overall episode rating out of 5 stars would have to be 3.5 or 3 or 3.5. So yeah, it was a good episode, so I recommend go watching it, and yeah, you'll get a few laughs out of it. The beginning part is a bit confusing. Maybe it was just confusing for me, but I thought it was pretty confusing, so maybe confusing for you, so I'm letting you know. That's about it. Remember, links are in the description. Like our videos, add to favorites. Subscribe, we greatly appreciate it. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. And we'll keep you updated about tons of different animes we're going to be reviewing. We should be reviewing the next Attack on Titan episode. It just by the time we got around to actually filming it, it just yeah, it was just too late by then. That's why we didn't do the 5th one, and we said we would. It just was a different time zones, and I just got back. It's just too confusing. So there should be a 6th episode review, and apparently High School of the Dead is getting a 2nd season. I will be reviewing that. I will. So Quincy may be reviewing that, but I definitely am. So whenever that comes back, expect me, because I will be reviewing that. Alright, that is it for today, and I will see you guys later. Jana.